Welcome back to part 4 of our tutorial. So our first step is let's go to the dashboard of our Zabbix server. So go ahead and put in your IP address of your Zabbix server /Zabbix, just like so. And let's go ahead and log in. Most likely your username is still admin with a capital A and the password you created. Okay, here we are on your main Zabbix dashboard, and you can see we have 3 hosts up. You can look at some information right in the middle here. From the dashboard on the left hand side, click on configuration, then go to host groups. Here you'll see your list of host groups, but at the top right hand corner, go ahead and click on create host group. Here you'll put in the name Battle of Nodes. That's a capital B and a capital N, the rest is lowercase. And you want your host group named Battle of Nodes exactly as it's spelled here. Go ahead and click add, and you'll see it listed in your list of host groups. So next we're going to go over to configuration and hosts and create a host, and this is going to be the name of the host that you wrote in that configuration file of the Zabbix agent. So it has to be that exact name, and I'm going to put it in the Battle of the Nodes group. We're going to grab the IP address of that agent and put it in here under interfaces and add. We're going to do this for our other node as well. Same thing. Name, group, interface, and we're going to add that there. Go ahead and grab the URL and head over to the GitHub site under the zabbix-elrond-plugin, and you're going to download this zip file, and we're going to use that to import a template into Zabbix. So just hit the code button, download your zip file, and unzip that wherever you would like on your local computer, and you'll be importing that to the Zabbix server. In your Zabbix server, go to configuration and templates, import, browse, and select the most recent XML file from the zip file you just unzipped and downloaded from the GitHub site, and import that. And go ahead and bring that on in. And next, go to configuration and hosts, and we're just checking on our hosts and to see if they're connected yet. They're not quite connected yet, so we're going to move on and connect the templates that we want to our node. So click on the first node and go ahead and type in Linux there into the templates search box, and you're going to be importing the Linux for Zabbix agent template into each one of your hosts. Still no availability, but that's no big deal. It will it should connect quite soon for you. You can go to monitoring and the dashboard, and you can look at some of your updated information there about your hosts. From under monitoring and hosts, you can look at problems, and it looks like right now the problem of availability is being resolved. The Zabbix server is beginning to see the agents themselves. Next, go back to configuration and hosts, and you can see right there that the availability icon has changed, and they are live. And we're going to now connect the template that we just imported, the Zabbix agent template, to each one of our agents from our nodes. Host is updated, and you can see a lot more of the items, and you can see the templates that are attached. And now we're going to monitoring and latest data, and this is where you will be able to look at the data itself that's coming in from your agents. It is not fully populated yet. This does take some time. I would give it a good hour before you would expect to see all of your data. And next, we're going to go back to our SSH sessions, to our servers that have the agents running on them, and we need to install a Elrond package on each of those so that the right data points can be read by the Zabbix template we just installed. And so at this point, Zabbix server wouldn't recognize anything about your Elrond node, but with this package it will. So again, just follow along in the description with the commands as they're provided there. So once the Zabbix plugin is installed, you'll see at the end it says restarting Zabbix agent. So you don't have to restart that on your own. It's going to be ready to go. And next we are going to move back over to our next step is to come on back to the Zabbix server, and we are going to install Grafana. So that's the next thing we'll be doing. So go to the notes where it says install Grafana, and start your SSH session with your Zabbix server, and we're going to install Grafana there. And in the installation commands, there is one that looks a little bit tricky, and that one, it ends with a dash, and so I will say that one, I haven't got that one quite figured out yet, but it's the sudo wget. It ends with a dash and returns an OK, and then you're gonna give it this next command, and this is where we're gonna get the Grafana package. Our Grafana server is going to be run on the same server as our Zabbix server, and it's going to be using port 3000. So you will need to ensure that you don't have a firewall up on your Linux machine, for instance with UFW, or that your hosting provider doesn't have firewalls up, as some do by default. Some default everything's open, some default almost everything's shut off. So ensure that port 3000 is open. Again, you can use that NMAP command to check if you need, and there you go. All right, our server is open and receiving on port 3000. So let's take our IP address, which is the same as our Zabbix server, put it in the web browser, and do a :3000. That'll get you to port 3000 on your web browser. And welcome to the Grafana web server here, and the default username is admin, all lowercase, and the default password is admin, all lowercase. And it has us go ahead and set a new password. So you can go ahead and do that now. If you need to change your password, you can go to admin down at the bottom left and go to change password and test it out. You can also create new users down there in the admin section. You can create non-administrator users for just viewers that you want to give access to your Grafana server. Alright, so now that we know Grafana server is up and running, we have one last step from the command line, and that is the sudo grafana CLI plugins command. And we're going to install a plugin that will allow Grafana to work directly with Zabbix. Then lastly, we restart our Grafana server, and from this point we're done on the command line. So congratulations on that, and we'll be configuring our Grafana server from the dashboard. So within our Grafana dashboard, we're going to go to configuration, the gear icon, and data source, and then plugins. And you're going to search for your Zabbix plugin and enable that. Okay, Zabbix plugin is enabled. Let's go to the data sources first, and we're going to add a Zabbix data source. In the notes, you'll find a line that starts with HTTP. It's just a URL that points back to itself. Next, we need to tell Grafana the username and password to our Zabbix server. So this is the username for your admin of Zabbix, and the password you configured there. If you test it and it doesn't pass the test here in a second, you can click the reset button on that password, and that's how you'll try again with your password, but you want all green check marks before you can proceed. Next, go to create and import, and we're going to import a JSON file. Now this file is going to be on your local computer that you're operating from right now, and you will have already had to have made these files from the code that I'm going to give you in the description of the video. You're going to create 2 JSON files, and you're going to import them just like this. One of them is going to be a general dashboard like this right here, and another one's going to be for an individual node monitoring. So right off the bat, you should see some data from some of these data points. We're going to have to go and fine-tune this a bit.